Tonight, you will fall asleep the same way you always do. You will assume your body knows what it's doing. It doesn't. Not entirely. Somewhere between waking and dreaming, there is a gap, a place where your mind wakes up before your body gets the memo. And in that gap, people have seen things, felt things, some of them never fully recovered. This is sleep paralysis, and it is far stranger and far more dangerous than a scary story you tell at a sleepover. Let's start with what's actually happening inside you. Every night, your brain runs a safety program called REM atonia. During REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming happens, your brain sends a signal down your spinal cord that essentially switches off your muscles. Your arms don't move, your legs don't move. Even though your brain is firing dream images at full speed, your body stays still. Why would evolution build this in? Because without it, you would act out your dreams. You would run from imaginary predators, throw punches at imaginary attackers, and quite possibly injure yourself or whoever is sleeping next to you. So, your brain paralyzes you, on purpose, every single night. Most of the time, the system resets cleanly. You drift out of REM, your muscles come back online, and your conscious mind wakes up at roughly the same moment. Clean handoff. No memory of the in-between. But sometimes, the handoff fails. Your conscious mind switches on early. You open your eyes, and your body is still locked in REM atonia. You are awake. You are aware. And you cannot move a single muscle. This is sleep paralysis, and it is a documented, studied, entirely real neurological event, not folklore, not superstition. Researchers estimate that roughly 8% of the general population will experience it at least once. Among people with certain sleep disorders, that number climbs dramatically. Here's where it gets strange. Sleep paralysis rarely arrives alone. It almost always comes with a passenger, a hallucination. And these hallucinations are not random. Across cultures, across centuries, across people who have never met each other or read the same books, the hallucinations follow eerily consistent patterns. A sense of a presence in the room, pressure on the chest, a feeling of being watched, or worse, being pinned down by something that isn't supposed to be there. Sleep researcher Alan Cheney at the University of Waterloo spent years collecting thousands of first-hand sleep paralysis reports. He found the experiences clustered into three recognizable categories: the sense of an intruder, pressure and choking sensations on the chest, and what he called vestibular motor experiences, floating, flying, or the feeling of leaving your own body. Why would completely unrelated brains, in completely unrelated cultures, generate the same nightmare? One theory points to your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for threat detection. During sleep paralysis, your amygdala doesn't get the message that everything is fine. It stays online, scanning for danger, while your visual cortex is still partially dreaming. The result is a threat detection system running at full alert with no real threat to detect, so your brain manufactures one. That manufactured threat has an old name. In medieval Europe, people called it the mare, a spirit believed to sit on a sleeper's chest at night. That word survives today in nightmare. In parts of Newfoundland, it was called being haggard, or ridden by the old hag. In Japan, it's kanashibari, being bound by metal. In parts of West Africa, it takes the form of a sitting or crushing spirit. Different names, same chest, same pressure, same paralysis. For centuries, this was written off as demons, witches, or ghosts. It wasn't until sleep science matured in the 20th century that researchers connected the dots between folklore and physiology. But knowing the science doesn't always make it less frightening, and sometimes it's genuinely dangerous. Consider a documented and widely studied cluster of deaths among Hmong refugees in the United States during the 1980s. Dozens of otherwise healthy young men died suddenly in their sleep, with no clear medical cause found on autopsy. The pattern became known in medical literature as sudden unexpected nocturnal death syndrome, or SUNDs. Investigators later linked many of these cases to a combination of a rare inherited heart, arrhythmia, and profound psychological terror tied to sleep paralysis episodes, which the community already associated with a malevolent nocturnal spirit believed to sit on the chests of sleepers. In other words, an extreme fear response during paralysis may have triggered a fatal cardiac event in people who were already physiologically vulnerable. That is not folklore. That is documented in peer-reviewed medical journals. Sleep paralysis on its own is not considered life-threatening for most people, but the panic it produces is real, and panic has physical consequences. Elevated heart rate, spiking cortisol, a body flooded with the same chemistry as a genuine life or death emergency, except there is no way to run, no way to fight, and no way to escape, because you cannot move. Do you see the trap yet? Your brain generates a threat. Your body prepares to respond to that threat. And your own paralysis, the very mechanism designed to protect you, becomes the thing that traps you inside the terror. There's another layer to this. Sleep paralysis isn't random. It has known triggers, and they are almost all things you already recognize from your own life. Sleep deprivation is the biggest one. So is an irregular sleep schedule, the kind produced by shift work, jet lag, or simply staying up too late scrolling on your phone. Sleeping on your back increases the odds significantly, likely because it makes chest pressure hallucinations more physically plausible to the dreaming brain. Chronic stress and anxiety disorders raise the risk further. So does narcolepsy, a condition in which the boundaries between sleep stages become porous in the first place. Notice what that list actually describes. Modern life, blue light at midnight, inconsistent bedtimes, constant low-grade anxiety, a culture that treats a full night's sleep as optional, something to sacrifice for one more episode, one more scroll, one more hour of work. You are not more likely to experience sleep paralysis because you did something wrong in some cosmic sense. You are more likely to experience it because you live now, in a world engineered to disrupt exactly the rhythms your brain depends on to make a clean handoff between sleep and waking. The hag, the intruder, the shadow figure sitting on your chest, it isn't coming from outside you. It never was. It's your own threat detection system, running with no real threat, manufacturing one out of static. And maybe that's the more unsettling part. Not that something supernatural might visit you in the night, but that your own exhausted, overstimulated, understimulated in the right ways brain is fully capable of terrifying you, all on its own, using nothing but the wiring you were born with. So tonight, when you fall asleep, your body will assume it knows what it's doing. Most nights, it will be right. But somewhere in that gap between waking and dreaming, in the small hours when your guard is lowest, remember what's actually there, waiting for you. Not a demon, not a hag, not a shadow with weight and intent. Just you, wide awake inside your own skull, waiting for your body to catch up. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and drop a comment with what you want me to cover next.